times. We ain't nothing but the kids who grew up to have McDonald money. We used to ask for McDonald's all the time when we was kids, and that's the main thing we was told you. You got McDonald's money? You be like, shit, I ain't got no McDonald's money. And we knew from here on out we was gonna get us some McDonald's money, and that's really all we did. We just kids with McDonald's money. We buy what the fuck we
Mhm.
want. We do what the fuck we want. We enjoy ourselves. Shit.
I'm not convinced of that last one, but go ahead.
I
I
mean,
mean, most people seem absolutely miserable. It's like if you just scratch the surface of their life, miserable is right
I'm
up
at
there.
like 63.7 on the misery. Like other than
That's
that,
high.
I'm good though. I
That's
mean,
actually a majority percentage.
okay.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
That's a
if I
lot.
was, I mean, yeah, but I can live with it. I was at like a good 93 a couple years ago. So,
Mm.
Okay, I
You're
mean,
improving,
right.
improving.
You know what I'm saying?
You're trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of strange to me? I was just thinking about this morning in terms of like, you guys are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy, right? I know Brie is.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when I was at the bottom of the hierarchy, when I was like really struggling, I didn't have time for depression. I didn't have time for anxiety. I did not have time for this pontification about life and purpose and all this other shit, right? And as certain things became more stable in my life, where secured a house, secured like a family unit, even though it is a small family unit, but as you secure more and more stuff, then you start thinking. Now you have time because I'm never worried about the mortgage. I'm never worried about the certain things. I'm just never, well, currently right now, I'm just not worried about certain things. So I got time now to sit around and think about what is the purpose of life? Am I really happy? And I used to think to myself, like, why the fuck do these white rich celebrities get depressed? What the hell? Like, if you got money, what the hell are you depressed about? Like, you own the world, you white, you got money, like, what is the problem? And even though I still ain't white, I don't work on that one yet. But now that certain things are not a problem, I'm kind of understanding a little bit like, damn, like money, it definitely makes things a bit better, but it certainly isn't the answer to everything. You still got to do work. You still have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out like why, like you can be at a job that makes a bunch of money and you still got to figure out like, damn, my whole life dedicated to this shit. Is this what the purpose is? Like I fought so hard to get here and now like, is this really what I want? And before I couldn't focus about anything else. I could not think straight. All I wanted was to be stable. And once it came, it seemed like, damn, I can't just be happy now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
nope.
Yeah.
I
I
think
have
money can
not
only take
found.
you up two levels, right?
Say again?
I think money can only get you to two bottom levels of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
triangle of the hierarchy.
Yeah. Yep.
And the rest is up to you and your
But
relationships.
even after the money and you have a family, you have a family unit, like, you know,
Self-esteem,
there's still more levels to climb.
and it's all the self after that.
And then you're dealing with the self, bro. And that shit is like the most difficult part. That's the part where most people sometimes they tap into it, but they don't usually stay there. It's like they go back and forth between the last one and the one right below it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
Safety and
now I
belonging.
understand why, but I did not understand before until I got to this space. And it's hard. I understand now why people have such a difficult time. Yeah. I understand now why people have such a because the physiological safety, loving, belonging, we good right there. Self-esteem, I'm pretty cool. I'm all right, but the self-actualization, sometimes it's all right, sometimes it ain't.
I'm asking acceptance of facts up there because I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize it was so fucking high up. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, I'm asking way too much of people.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
you
didn't
are.
realize it was in self-actualization. I like what?
Yep, that's what makes it
Because
so
Like that's
hard.
high.
every fact, your belief or acceptance of it is shaded by everything below it. Because your self-esteem will affect certain facts. Like, oh, you're an attractive person, but if you have low self-esteem, it might be a fact that the majority of people on this earth will find you attractive. But if your self-esteem is low, you may not believe that. or if you don't have quality friendships or family or sexual intimacy, even though you're attractive, the fact would be that most people visually, the Fibonacci, all that weird stuff, facial symmetry, you might be attractive, but if you don't get the feedback from the world and that love and belonging, you won't believe it.
I mean,
you
shit,
don't feel
listening to
safe.
people talk on the internet, I don't think most people get beyond safety.
I don't think so.
For sure. Absolutely.
Because you don't have sexual intimacy. That doesn't mean just having sex. It's
Exactly.
like
Right.
actually connecting.
Yeah.
Friendship?
No.
Mhm. That's sad. It's fuck.
And family doesn't mean relatives. I got lots of relatives. I don't have a lot of family. So I
That's
mean,
fucked up.
the first two. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff on the top is shaded by the fact that most people don't even have a firm grasp on the bottom two, and you can tell when they talk. They're so fear based,
Mm-hmm.
and that fear is in those first two, like the food insecure, the housing insecure, unable to get sleep,
Yeah.
don't have access to sex, men and access to sex. I mean, a lot of, especially the manosphere, a lot of the manosphere is fear on that first level. And the second, if you get past the first, they're fear on the second. Loss of property. Oh, they're gonna get half my money if I divorce her. So that's the property. I'm gonna lose my property. I'm gonna lose my resources. I'm gonna lose my family. They'll take my kids. So I mean, we can't get past the first two. Most of the conversations from the men's perspective, I haven't seen them grow past the first two. Well, I'm looking at this.
Damn.
I don't think I've heard men talk about anything in the top three.
No.
Like
I would
outside
agree.
of our group. I mean, when I'm listening to other people, I haven't heard those conversations.
Absolutely agree.
I agree. I don't think women are doing much better at all either. I think women are getting beyond the yellow.
Yeah.
I think women have friendships, and usually, talk about, women are usually more connected to their community in that way.
Mhm.
Connection is usually a little bit easier for women, but
Yeah.
I don't see women going too high beyond it either.
Because these BBLs, these self-esteem things, like respect of others, respect to yourself. Like, I hear you. But this is the reason why, Brie, I think that when you're on that higher tier, it's difficult for you to talk to someone that's not on that's not struggling with those same tiers, because you guys not speaking the same language. Someone's struggling with tier, the bottom half, or the middle half, and you're up on the self-actualization half of it, the portion of it. So you guys are not able to really relate, even though they mean well. It's just not. That's why they're not able to understand you.
I think that goes back to my one up, one down theory. Like me and Bree and Yellow were talking a long time ago about who we could help as far as streaming, and I was like, I don't think, like, as far as like class, like who the people that have like 1,000 followers and 100 followers, they probably shouldn't try to work with somebody that's got like 200,000. Like that's too big of a gap.
Right.
Like the knowledge and the what you're dealing with is so different. I would say the same thing with money in class. Like people who make like $1,000 a week probably don't have as much around with somebody that's making $10,000 to $15,000 a week. The places they go, the things they know is probably going to be very different. And not that they couldn't learn from each other. It's just that sometimes there's the difference becomes too great. So I'm with you, Camden, and I think that's a lot of what we're doing when we're having problems in these conversations. It gets stuck between, like, even what you talked about with the stability. When you said, like, what does stability mean to you? Stability for somebody that's on the physiological level means something totally different than stability to somebody that's on that love belonging.
Exactly.
And it's self-actualization.
Exactly.
If they say stability, they mean something else because they've already mastered the first four.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on a self-actualization stability, your mind is going to go to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's a really good point.
Yes, I'll keep my channel name then. Can't relate.
Case.
I'm just saying, you the one who gave me the channel name.
Yeah, I mean, it was because it was at that time because you kept saying it that week. I remember that week. Every time we said something, you was like, I can't relate. I just can't relate. I can't relate. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you can't relate to nothing we say.
No, usually I can't. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm trying real hard.
I be feeling like that too. Like there's a lot of things within the Black community which I feel like, why don't I fit in? Like, bro, I do not fit into all this shit. Like when you guys talk about alpha and fucking, I'm like, I don't fit into none of this shit. Like I'm an introvert. I ain't got no goddamn kids. I don't even like the purpose shit. Like, don't you feel like you have to have kids? I'm like, the only person I felt comfortable having kids with would have been my husband, but I'm not walking around here like my life is terrible because they don't have kids. Like I don't relate to so much shit. I just the whole religion thing. You know, I'm a Christian, but some of y'all on a different type of Christianity.
Yes.
Can't relate. Don't understand what the fuck the problem is.
Can't do it.
I don't know.
Totally
but I be feeling that way too.
I've noticed that, Kate. You feel like, why do y'all say this? Why do y'all do that? Like, man, she really just don't know how we be living out here.
For real.
We be struggling out here.
But I think that's the problem, because I think I was saying that when I was talking about I don't know how I'm gonna come back to streaming, because I feel like, one, I can't relate. Two, I've been too nice and letting people feel like I can relate to them, and I feel like I'm almost at the point where I'm like, I'm not like y'all, and it's time for me to just start saying that shit, because I think for the sake of inclusivity, relatability, and building community, I think a lot of people think they're better off than they are, because you have everybody trying to humble themselves and create this level playing field. And I think that I think that's the masculine energy that's missing to some degree, like to let people like we not the same, we not built the same, you're not on my level. I think some of that is missing. Like, I think we've laid ourselves so low, especially Black people, that everybody is like, we all on the ground, and I'm just sick of these niggas getting on their streams and lumping me up into they on the ground ass, and I'll be like, I'm not like y'all. I'm trying to play nice for the sake of having a conversation, but I'm not like y'all, and I think it's time for me to just start saying that, because I'm not.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I think the class distinction needs to re-emerge, because everybody's trying to play down to the lowest common denominator and make room for it. Even though everybody complains about the participation trophy, we keep giving it to people. At the same time, we're complaining about, it's a participant. The very same people that I've seen it on the panels, I'll say even Black Men Unfiltered, they complained about participation trophies when being kind to everybody, but they celebrate mediocrity quite a bit. Like, they be high-fiving some of the most overused points. I don't even understand how they can still laugh at the hot dog in the hallway joke. Like, it can't be funny. It cannot be funny the 30th time you've heard it this week. Like, I'm so sorry.
I just laugh at how pissed off it makes you. It's hilarious to me. It's so annoying.
The hot dog in the first time it was like, I mean, but like, the worst day is when I wanted to find an example, and I was like, how am I going to find an example of him saying this to add to this video? And I literally clicked a random video, and I literally clicked just somewhere into the video, and it took less than 30 seconds for him to say it. And I'm like, oh my God, it should not be that easy. It should not. And there it was, a hot dog in the hallway. And I'm like, this is his catchphrase. And I couldn't imagine wanting to be known for throwing a hot dog down the hallway.
It was funny. It was kind of funny 20 years ago. It definitely ain't funny now.
Because what was the original version for me? Was it a Tic Tac? Was it some more? A Tic Tac? Or was it Adele Givens? It was like giving a Tic Tac to a whale. Was the way they phrased it.
I've never heard that one.
That's funny. Right, I always hear hot dog down the hallway. I ain't never heard
giving a Tic Tac to a whale.
Well, shit. But no, I always heard it like that. And man, I just had to chat me real quick. That shit is trash. But I was looking at this, and man, I don't know. I might be all types of needing some help for real, because I'm like, fuck everything on the pyramid. Fuck it all.
What?
Well, nigga, you
I
gotta
don't
breathe,
care at
motherfucker. What you
all.
talking about? Fuck all.
I
Yeah, you right.
mean,
Well, you
I
know,
can't do
the
nothing.
smoker.
I can't. At the end of the day, I can't do nothing about that. Either it's gonna happen or it's not. I can go somewhere and try to get somebody to assist me with it, but that's gonna happen or not. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I mean, had me in the sex, what? Excretion.
Excretion.
Pooping and shit. You know, shitting, peeing,
Oh,
getting shit out of your body.
yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
your body existing is the bottom.
Oh, I thought it was some excrement. Okay, cool. Like, we got that under control. Security of body, employment. I mean, niggas lose their job every day, B. You know what I'm saying? Niggas get killed every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the safety of family because of certain shit going down. I can't do nothing about that. I don't have the safety of morality either because if I go on, nobody has a safety of morality right now.
I
Because that's the
mean,
problem. Most people's
I don't even know what that
questioning
means.
like safety in your morals.
Yeah, no, I feel definitely safe in my morals.
I mean, I feel safe, but it's
No,
that's
but
the
it's
thing.
like you don't see when you talk, you don't strike me as a safe person.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like agreeing with your ass.
I'm not.
You got the bottom level on lock. You be eating. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
He do. That's what he
Shit.
said. Yella's like, I ain't got none of this shit on the second level. When he speaks, he doesn't sound like a man who's very secure in a lot of these things. Like he be out here cussing God out. I mean,
Facts.
and he said you can lose your job at any moment. That's not a secure thought when it comes to employment. So
I mean, anybody can.
Yeah, but the point
people don't
is,
feel
it's
that.
not that.
Most
The point
people don't view it like that. I don't know why people think like anybody has job security for real.
Okay, but the thing is, we're not talking about like this esoteric thing of anyone could lose their job. We're talking about right now in the moment. Is your job? Do you have regular work coming in? And if the answer is yes, then at the moment you are not worried about your job. Now that could change because just because you're at one space doesn't mean that you can't go up or come the fuck back down, right? But at the moment, I'm not worried about my job. I'm not worried about like if I'm gonna have a job. Now shit can change. That can definitely change, but just right now, at the moment, your job is secure. You know where you're going. You're not concerned about like where the next dollar is coming from.
Man, I'm out here, bro. Fuck out that shit. I'm out here, shit. I've always been that. That's been my mentality though. When I did have some level of security, it's always been there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't when you talk. I mean, that's what we say when you hear people talking, and I say a person is insecure. This is like what I'm talking about. Like it's generally like they can't be sure that they're okay. And like a lot of people who feel that way are valid and have valid reasons for feeling that way. Like as nurses, we have job security that a lot of people don't have, even through pandemics. Even like if this hospital fire me, I can go to another hospital. Most people don't, a lot of people don't have that type of job security. So,
and I would even point out, like, go ahead. I'm back.
Nah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would even point out to some of the conversations that we're familiar with in this space. Like, if you look on the safety, if you look at security of body, like, do you feel like you can walk around in your body and be safe? And I would say we've had those conversations where a lot of women do not feel that's the case, which then speaks to why they talk about not having healthy relationships with men as far as friendship, being able to build a family, and having sexual intimacy. Because if you haven't found security of body and you're always thinking, well, everybody's a threat. And I mean, sure, you can know that every man is bigger than you. But if you're constantly like in that state of heightened insecurity and awareness, it's going to be hard to ever get that love and belonging if you're in a constant state of fear. And even on the men's side, where guys are always talking about, well, if I have a family, she can always terminate the pregnancy, or they can just take my kid. So if you have a safety need of the family, it's going to be hard to build a family because you're going to be hesitant to ever take that step. It's going to be hard to trust. So you got to solve that one. You got to solve the feeling on the one level, or the feeling or the need to even approach that next level. Otherwise, we're doing it blindly, which I think a lot of people are. People are starting families, but they're still on the first two levels. So they'll jump to having sex and building a family, but not having any security or safety for the family, and not even sometimes being able to produce the basic needs of food, water, shelter.
And then they become a liability, like we were talking about a few minutes ago. Like it now becomes a liability. You can't even enjoy your family because now they're just another liability that you're insecure about because you're insecure because you don't have that safety across that second thing. And that's why I mean most people are insecure in some way.
But the deal is that you'll never actually have that secure. For most people, you'll never have that. If we looking at it like, well, you need to secure this, well, it's never going to be secure. That's never going to be the case then. There's always going to be the bigger chance of it going bad than it being secure all the time.
But
So
that's
it's not like,
security. It's
no,
a
I'm
feeling.
saying,
The security is a
Yeah.
feeling. It's not an actuality.
Yeah, you can't know anything in life. I mean, you can't guarantee anything in life, but a secure person, that lands on them in a different way. Like I'm a secure person. I would say I'm very secure in all of those realms down there. And that's not because I feel like I have control over the universe or nothing bad can happen to me. But your security comes from different places. So I think you can be secure. You can be secure in all of those things. You can find a job that you know you're going to be needed no matter what. You can like I'm security of body as a female. Like my our income allows us to pick areas where we can have extra security so that I'm not constantly worried about it on a daily level like I was when I lived in the hood, right? So like of course it's always a possibility, but as you climb or as you get access to things to help with those things to mitigate them, you don't have it in your mind on a daily basis. I would look at it as how often do you think about these things on a daily basis? Like can you go a day without thinking about these things? And if you can answer yes, then you're probably secure to some degree.
That's a good metric. I like the way you put that.
I'm with it, and I'm gonna say this, and y'all know y'all my peoples. I got love for y'all. I got respect for y'all, but I'm gonna say this in a way that I'm gonna try to say it as tactfully as possible.
No.
It's yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's easy not to worry about shit when somebody else is taking care of it too.
Right.
When it's some okay. So that's what I'm saying. When you speak from that way, a lot of men will never experience that having someone else that prioritizes the same things I prioritize in life 100% the way I do. You see what I'm saying?
Most
Okay.
people never self-actualize. I mean, and that's the thing when they talk
But
about
it's not-
most people never get to those higher levels because
But
most people
there's
can't secure that kind of safety.
but okay, so even still, securing all that other safety means I would just have to ignore the orange level. Because none of that is actually on me as a man. None of that. Outside of security of your body. I can take care of me, I can protect me. But outside of any of that, all of that is falling on me to provide for a lot of other people.
I mean, possibly. I mean, I don't think the thing about security, once again, it's not that the threats ever go away, but it's like how you feel about how you mitigate. It's mitigation. Like I think my husband would say he doesn't worry about leaving. Like maybe he's not worried about him. He feel like he can protect himself. But as a black man, there's always some level of like, I'm a black man in America. But to some degree, he has a security that I can leave my wife and kids alone at our place and they're not going to be hurt while I'm gone. That's a level of security that's his responsibility as the man. But he does have he's been able to mitigate that fear or concern by having access to be able to put us somewhere where he feels we will be the most safe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like as a man, that's kind of how y'all, like, it's always going to be a concern. But what power do you have to mitigate it? So, like,
I wouldn't even
go ahead.
No, yeah, that's the case. That's I can agree with that. It's just I don't know. For me, a lot of this is just like I don't know. Maybe that is okay. Maybe I'm probably at like 71% misery then, because I'm just like all of this shit. Like too much of this shit is outside of. I'm looking at it like too much of that shit is outside of my control. I can make all the money I want to, and none of that will stop. None of that will create a safety. Damn, like you said, most people don't even get to the top 3. Money don't create a safety in certain things, and I can see that. That's just the outcomes I'm probably setting up for I've set up for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna ever have safety of family. I'm not gonna ever have safety of resources. Because my resources gotta go out all the time. I don't have a secondary resource, and nor do I plan on having a secondary resource. Because I know I'll never have the safety of family. I know I'm not gonna trust nobody else to have this role in my life with me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm viewing it like that. So I'm just like, it's like major food groups to me. This is like the food groups to me. You just pick out what you want to make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's like clearing levels, then I'm just gonna have to skip level 2 then. You know what I'm saying?
He said, "Fuck level 2."
Yeah, right. For real. Because a lot of that requires dependency on another person.
But the thing is, this is why you probably have difficulty with having a relationship, because love and belonging, if you can't fix safety, this is the issue why you can't have intimacy. This is why you're having issues with love and belonging. That doesn't mean that you can't have some successful relationships in terms of friends. That doesn't mean you can't have some sexual like co-workers or whatever, but it's an indicator if you don't feel safe as to why sometimes you might struggle in some situations in which love and belonging is needed or trying to
that would be the reassurance.
Exactly. This is the reason why. It explains, because if you don't like it, so honestly, when you're looking at these things, it's not like everything in every realm of your life is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that like in family, personal, finance, we're just talking about, like, if I'm talking about let's just say if I'm talking about personally, right? I'm not talking about my husband. I'm not talking about my coworkers. I'm just talking about me personally. I have access to food, water, sleep. You know, I'm pissing and shitting okay. I'm breathing okay. I don't have asthma. Like, my body is okay, right? So when those things are secure, then I can go on to safety. But that doesn't mean that, you know, my family or someone else is not struggling with some of these other lower things. It just means that I'm talking. So you can be higher up in your personal life on some of these things, and lower when it comes to, like, say, financially, you might still be struggling with, you know, security.
Yeah.
And you might have safety of body, but you might be still struggling with resources.
And I was just going to say, like, the word that kept coming up with struggle, like, think about it like what Kansas Dan used the word struggle. Like, each one of these levels is a particular lane of struggle where they're kind of related, but loosely related. But if you struggle on this level, it means it's less likely on the next level for you to have success. Not impossible, but if you're struggling to find food and water, it's very unlikely that you have safety of resources, because you're struggling to find food and water. There may be resources that you have fully under your control, but it just won't be food and water. So like Candy will say, it's not a one-to-one. These are all lanes. Like my aunt, she struggles breathing. She's got bad asthma or something. So right now it's not costing her employment, but it is giving her, she doesn't feel safety of health. She doesn't feel secure in her health because she struggles breathing. But it's not costing her any safety of employment. So there's another way to look at this. It's not just a straight flat thing. It's more of a 3D cone. And in that cone, if you were looking from the bottom of the cone, you can come at it from all these different spaces and head towards the point in a 3-dimensional way. But this flat one, yeah, you got to look at it differently, because you could easily have some semblance of friendships. You could even have some healthy family relationships because you have a few of these safety. I mean, because I especially when we talk about dating, there are certain women we see a lot of times they just want a tall guy. You might be able to develop a relationship with a woman simply because she wants a tall dude. You're 6'2". You give her the security of your body. I'm very safe. I'm 6'2". I feel strong. I feel tough. I feel safe in my body. People will gravitate to that feeling of safety of your body to be next to you, to cling on to that security. That may generate a relationship. That may be the thing that draws somebody in, and you'll be able to develop it. But if you have a lack in another area, like if you have a struggle of employment, that may overtake that security of body. So I mean, it's a recipe. It's a recipe like that can have different combinations for each of us. It's not like a template.
I found that I think community helps you with this actually. And I think a lot of people don't have community, and I think that's why it's hard for people to actualize. I don't actually believe, like, even though this is your state, I don't actually believe you can actualize by yourself. Like, it is the self, but you can't do it by yourself because that's too much to put on one person. Like, it's too much to put on one person to secure their body, their employment, their resources, morality, the family, the health. Like, it's too much to do all that by. I don't think one person can do it alone. And like, I think that's why a lot of people are struggling with it, because everybody's trying to do it in their own power. And it's just too much shit. And like, you don't have control of the world. But if you don't even have a unit or a tribe to help, or like even feel, what do you have? Like, it's me against the world. And that alone is going to create some insecurity. So I don't actually think, even though this is the self, I don't think people can really actualize in isolate or by themselves. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I think that's closer. I think that's closer to what I was trying to say. It's like, because I see self actualization, but I see all of this depends on other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can't do that shit alone. That's too much. I mean, historically, I think that's why humans always grouped up. I mean, people are social creatures. They create tribes and families and communities because that's how you create a safe environment.
Well, good thing I won't self-actualize then. 'Cause fuck these people.
That's funny though, in a weird way. Like, again, because it's not a straight template. It's not a straight track. You do self-actualize. I think in certain degrees, it might be, man. Okay, if I could flip this upside down, I would say it's like a strainer. And more bits of yourself, when you pour energy into your life, it gets strained out. Almost all of your energy hits that first level. Like, if you flip this up in your mind, the red is the top level. As you live, your time and energy filters through that top level first, which would be the red. We focus on our breathing because that's 100% of the time we're breathing. Food and water, sex, sleep, homeostatic excretion. Most of our time is spilled through that top level. What energy does not get sorted out by that red goes down to the orange one. And then we worry about, okay, let's make sure we always have food and water. Let's always have access to sex. Let's always have a nice place to sleep where it's safe and I'm warm and all that stuff. Let's always have a place to shit. Let's always have that. Let's be secure on that. Well, now that we've got that handled, man, it'd be nice to have some people to hang out with. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Now that everything's secure, now we can filter our energy down to securing like family and friendships. Now that we got that, now we can spend more energy on, man, you know what? I've been doing all this. Who am I doing all this for? I don't even know if I'm doing this the right way. Does anybody even like me? So then you worry about the esteem stuff. If you keep filtering down, and then finally it's like, okay, people do like me. I do matter. And it's like, well, let me pour myself out into the world. And that's that last little bit. And when you finally hit that bottom bit, like you're settled. You're settled within yourself. If you flip this chart upside down, when you get to that last part is when you finally settle within yourself and who you are. That's how I would reinterpret this chart.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Because you can accept who you are.
I can dig it.
And like use your creative energy. Because like Candid Ann was saying, if you got all that other stuff going on, ain't nobody got time to be drawing and shit. Like, so expressing creativity, I mean, that's
staring
like
at a star or something and just
the shit, making beats. Like,
it's
you got to look at that top chart. Yellow, you be in that top chart a lot, but there are some aspects of yourself which are blocked that have been filtered out by some of those other struggles. There are parts of yourself that will never see the light of self-actualization because they've been filtered out by some insecurity. But there's a lot of it that has gotten through because you have a moral center. There's certain things you just like. I gotta call out the fuck shit. That's morality. The creativity, you're always doing creative stuff. Spontaneity, and I don't know if anybody's more spontaneous than you. Problem solving, you do like to solve problems and figure stuff out. Lack of prejudice, you go to places that nobody else will go because of your lack of prejudice. And acceptance of facts, I mean, you struggle there, but just know that I'm always right. I am the fact, and you've kind of accepted it.
So you sound like a pastor.
The facts.
That's some malarkey. Yeah, so I think it just would be like you said, a block in some of it. That is more like some are interrelated. If you're blocked in one place, then you're not gonna climb in the other places. And Rashawn's trying to manipulate you like a pastor.
I'm stuck at the top.
He's talking about I'm stuck at the top. Now you stuck at the top. You were stuck at the bottom, and now you stuck at the top.
I'm stuck at the top. That's what it is. Because I give less than a fuck. I mean, I'm blocked on all of that. I know I'm blocked on all of that at the bottom.
He said he blocked on y'all, so you don't have confidence? Fuck out
I've
of here.
I've had all of that. I've had all of this. I'm looking at it. I've had all of this. And my loss of all of this has put me at the top of the mountain. So I climbed up to the top of the mountain. I just don't have the fucking tools to get back down. So
you kicked the ladder accidentally.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yellow at the top starving because he can't get no food. You at the top starving, you can't get no food.
That's why he the most high.
Right. I mean, look at it like that. Look at it like that. If I'm at the top, that's what I'm most deprived of. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so far away. Yeah, I got self-esteem. I got confidence. I understand. I've had achievements. I got respect for others. I've got respect by others. Friendship, family, sexual intimacy.
I wonder if people who like to be like high a lot are stuck in the top. I was like, your crazy ass girlfriend might be stuck.
She is not even on this fucking list.
No, she.
No. Zero morality. Zero creativity. Oh man,
like,
look! Don't make me drag her from the top of this pyramid down to the bottom.
I'm just saying, like
zero morality, zero creativity.
The spiritual people, like the super spiritual, like crystals, and like I can morph the world with my think positive mantras. Like they are like almost trying to. I don't know if they truly self-actualize, but it mimics a lot of the top. Yeah, it does. It mimics a lot of the top, but it's like a fake one. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but it feels like a fake actualization.
You're right. So put it like this: the top. So if you look, from having experienced her, I would say it like this: if we look at the whole pyramid, look at it as a whole pyramid, right, and then look at the top as a pyramid by itself. If you took out the green, yellow, orange, and red, that's what they focus on. They ignore it's just its own pyramid by itself. That's where they start at. That's where they stay at. You know what I'm saying? They don't really identify with none of the other shit because none of that matters to them because that's where they rest at. They rest in trying to be that. But they don't actually have it because they haven't experienced the other levels. They haven't even tried to be within the other levels. So that's when he was like, she live up there. Look, motherfucker ain't got no morals. Don't have no morals. You're willing to shit on anybody at any time. So you really don't have no respect for others. Not as creative as you've seen because everything you got 17,000 other people do. You don't have nothing individualized about yourself. Your message, your beliefs come from somebody else's message. I don't trust nobody on that. If you can't regurgitate to me something I've only heard you say or hear you say, like not only, but like it can't be something that I can go find 50 other people say this shit. You know what I'm saying? No spontaneity because it okay, little bit spontaneity, but
I was gonna say it feels
little bit of
all random
spontaneity,
to me.
little bit of
It feels
spontaneity,
all
little bit
random.
of spontaneity. But the problem solving, motherfucker don't solve no problems. They
Well,
create.
it's fake because their spirituality is all of these things. Like they're creative, they paint and they dance and they listen to music and they're spontaneous and they have a morality and they accept all because we are all part of the all. And like the fact is the universe, like they have,
Oh yeah,
they
the
would say
template.
they have,
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. The template, yeah.
yeah,
That
they have,
particular
it gives
person,
them all
fuck
of that.
no.
Well, because they're not grounded. I mean, even if you look at the colors, like the spiritual people, they would say, oh, that's the chakra, because the red one is your genitals, and then it's the orange, and then the purple is the crown chakra, which is on your head, right? The spiritual people are too in their head. They're not grounded in reality. They're not in their body. They don't accept the physical realm as feedback to that they're fucking crazy. Like they're just all at the top, and you can't do anything if you're not grounded in the physiological.
They think they at the top. They think they at the top.
I think you could be two in your head. We say some people two in their head. They're like, this is all in your head, right? Like people who are two in their thoughts all the time.
Or the too heavenly minded to be any earthly good is another example of that. They're two on the top. They're two on the top level in a false reality to help anybody on that bottom reality.
Exactly. Or even help themselves. I mean, you can't. It's a grounded thing. I mean, as someone who lives in my head too much, like I think that's something I have to be aware of. And I think that's part of it. Like those people who are at the top, if you do self-actualize, maybe it's like you, I don't know. I don't think you go down, but maybe you just stay in that part and you can't connect to people anymore. I don't know. But I found that's something I struggle with. So I have to ground myself in the physiological body to some degree. So that's another way of looking at it.
That's kind of interesting, though. I really don't think Yellow's gotten rid of those other blocks. I don't know. I'm at to work on that concept though, because I really do think just the more needs you have on those levels, it just becomes more filters that allow fewer parts of yourself to settle down into self-actualization.
Yeah.
I know we say it's ascendance, but I think it's actually settling to within yourself, because everybody talks about finding themselves, but you find yourself within. Like you're actually, this is like a dive into yourself, because you start on the external first, and then you're actually just deepening. It says ascendance, but I think this is actually inverted.
Yeah.
You slowly go into yourself from external, slowly, and you get to internal.
Yeah. The top is the mind. I think it's like that because it's just like the chakras is following that, like that idea of like you know, if you're in your body, survival mode is body. Like it's all embodiment. Like when I talk about those people who just talk like they're animals, it's like that's all embodiment. That's all like you're just an animal. Like all you think about is eating, fucking, shit. Like you literally an animal. And then like you're supposed to not be all body or all mind. Like it's really, you should be balanced. So I think that's also why it's that way.
Yeah, it ignores the spiritual aspects of the human experience, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk like that, like they just fucking animals.
And that shit gets on my nerve. Look at the lions. The lions, you know, look at that shit gets on my fucking nerves, man.
We are animals. Bitch.
Yeah.
My dog ain't never went to fucking work. Stop playing with me.
I ain't never seen 6 people. I've never seen 6 dogs, 6 cats, or fucking monkeys on StreamYard trying to figure shit out and have conversations about homosexuals and all this other shit. But I've never seen it. Only humans.
I will watch though. I will
Cat
watch.
on
If y'all
StreamYard talking about how female cats ain't shit.
can you
That's
imagine lions like these male lions ain't like the male lions they used to make before. Like I gotta be doing all this work. These male lions right now, man. I'm telling you, they ain't shit. You know, it's like we forget that the thing about us that's special is that we have a spiritual aspect to ourselves, and our purpose isn't tied strictly to our physiological self. You know, but people want to drag this goddamn experience in, like, look at the lions, look at the this, you know, all this kind of nonsense. It's so fucking annoying to me.
Yeah, it's annoying to me too. It actually makes me rage out, which Rashawn has seen that. I think somebody was in Discord saying, we're like, I'm not a fucking animal. Y'all gonna stop trying to dehumanize me.
Yeah, that was me. You went off on me.
No, I was going off on Eric. It was you and somebody else. I just don't remember who the other person was.
I think it might have been me and Sim.
Fuck off. Like, y'all talk about y'allself. Y'all ain't never gonna get me to say I'm a fucking animal, bitch.
I'm an animal.
I'm
also a human.
The animal thing doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that we can't think that we can't. It's as if we can't be both.
Yep.
Right, that's the part that irritates the fuck out of me. Like, obviously, I'm not a plant, right? I'm not a fucking fungus. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Duh, I'm obviously a goddamn human, right? So I'm not.
We're human.
Say it.
We're humans. That's why I say humans. I gotta fucking. I wish I could just find a room with a fucking litter box and like use it and like worry about eating
and just
sleeping and sitting in my litter box all day. And not pay fucking taxes. No, I don't get to be an animal. Sorry. It's a privilege I don't have.
Yeah, the thing, but I feel like in order for them to understand it, like they don't, like you're coming at as you usually do from the Bree, we gotta make a word for you, Bree. You coming from the Breeization, the quiet Breeization of it all, right? But these people, you gotta flip it. Like, have you ever seen a dog doing their taxes? No, because we have humans.
Rashawn is not about to say he's seen a dog doing taxes.
We have not seen a dog.
There's a painting. There's a painting. Or maybe no, they was playing poker. They were playing poker. Never mind.
Oh, the dog's playing poker. We seen that.
I've never seen a bunch of birds talking about how it was back in slavery days. How birds and how it was back in the slavery days. We was out here. We was just like.
I don't know. I think orcas talk mad shit though.
I had to fly up hills to school both ways.
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. But only humans are stuck on this nonsense of, like, the fact that we can even read, have books to pass down history lets us know how important this spiritual part of us really is. I've never seen other animals do that. They communicate, yes, but at the level in which we communicate, create fucking highways, create fucking all this stuff that we do, like the fact that we even have a computer, I've never seen, like, come on now. But we forget all this other shit just to like bring humans down to this basic level of, you know, well, your purpose is to have a child and to have a kid, and if you don't have a kid, then you don't have a purpose. What?
Because black people good at lowering that fucking bar so that mediocrity can be acceptable. If the standard was animalistic behavior, then I mean,
can it just be though, like for a week? Can it just be?
You can go be a fucking animal.
I'm cool with being me at this point.
You can be you, but you're a human though.
Oh, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm a human. I am a human.